Do you agree with that type of sort of through line that, housing in general can become more affordable once we remove ourselves off of this fiat standard?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you really don't need to look further than like a place like Vancouver or New York or Toronto or something like that. Large number of those houses were bought by Chinese people that are trying to store their wealth. If you remove more that demand, that like store of value demand, and they're buying it because they don't think their cash is going to hold their value, whereas real estate is. If you remove that demand, then of course, like the price drops, right? And you probably don't have nearly the supply either, but like it'll be a lot more affordable. What One of the things about real estate, though, that really rankles me is just how regulated it is, but at the same time, how sort of like cheaply everything is made. And this is something that I touched on in the fiat real estate piece. But so much of the real estate right now is like not built for permanently. I mean, it's you look at medieval stuff. It's a lot of that stuff has lasted because they built it out of stone. The homes that we live in, it's gonna last maybe 25 years, and then it's gonna be crushed because somebody wants like a newer designer thing. It's kind of like wasted work, right? Like if you can have a house that can last 100 years, all the rebuilding, all those materials and stuff can go towards something else and build something cooler. And we're not really like expanding technology or anything like that. I mean, maybe there's a little bit on the 3D printing side or whatever, but because of this artificial demand of real estate, there's not really that much um, incentive to optimize things very much because everyone's making money. And this is the thing, like the analogy I'm going to give is like compare this to Bitcoin mining, where if you're an inefficient Bitcoin miner, you will go out of business. If you're, you have to be like sort of hyper efficient and very, very good at what you do in order to survive. As a home builder, you don't actually need to be that great. Like you just because there's just so much demand, you could just sort of be like mediocre and still make tons of money. Um, there's not enough pressure to optimize or innovate or um, you know make things more efficient because the way that real estate is, it's heavily regulated, so you kind of have to build a certain way. And getting a permit, for example, to do like a 3D printed house is like going to be very, very difficult in almost every jurisdiction because the people in charge won't want it like that. There just isn't that much room for any of that because there's all this artificial money just sort of coming into real estate. So you know all of that combined, and despite all that, homes have at least like building materials and technology. I mean, people live in like much more per person square footage than they were like 50 years ago because that's the thing that's most important to them. There is some innovation there. There could be a lot more innovation, I think, as you sort of optimize and put natural market forces toward it. And yeah, I think it'll get more affordable on two fronts. One, it'll be more affordable because there won't be the artificial store of value demand. But there's this other sort of direction of innovation and better materials and things that last longer and things like that, which come as a result of a more Bitcoin standard. People are just not going to pay for crappy built houses. They're going to pay for the ones that are going to last a long time and that they can pass down to their children. And I think those are the two sort of like opposing forces that eventually make housing way more affordable than it is now.